ladies and gentlemen, I gotta ask this question. How cheap is too cheap? Hey, what is good, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, you know who I be, Good Doc, Dr. Mike TV, back again, once again. You already know what it is. First time to the channel, subscribe, notify, do all the good things to make yourself well-versed in the Good Doc's content. Alright, not wasting time. We've had conversations before about the cost of living in the Philippines, and we've often had conversations about, how can I say this? About living arrangements and accommodations in the Philippines, whether you should rent, lease, own, etc. Now, I came across this very interesting video, shout out to Isla Pamilya, wherein they shared in their $40 rental place out there in, I want to say it was Siquijor. If I'm saying that wrong, my apologies. It's not Sharga, I think it was Siquijor. Alright. Now, they showed us a nice little, or they gave us a review of the place that they were living in and everything like that. And as you look at it, as I've seen it, you notice that it's a very small accommodation. You know, it's got one room in there. You walk inside the house, there's a small little area here, go into a room. I guess that's the main room, plus the place where they live or the place where they sleep at. And then you have a small area here where there's a desk and a table, and there's a window. You keep straight, you see your kitchen, and then I think the baño, or the bathroom, the comfort room, is there in the back on the other side of the kitchen. Now, as I'm reviewing this video, I asked myself, and I asked my gentleman, and I asked my audience, how cheap is too cheap? You know, how cheap is too cheap? How cheap are you willing to go to stretch the budget for yourself in the Philippines? Now, I appreciate them for sharing their accommodation, and I appreciate them for giving us a little, you know, mini tour of their living arrangements. And I often think to myself, could I do that for me, right? When I see videos like this, I often say, can Doc really do this for himself? And to be quite honest, the answer is likely going to be no. And it's not so much the size of the place, because the actual size of the place is ideal for somebody like me and my young lady. Just a one-bedroom little setup, a little living area on the outside, little kitchen and everything is good. But there's certain things that I've become accustomed to as a foreigner in the Philippines that I cannot live without. Number one, gotta have hot water. Granted, I can heat up some water, put it in a bucket, mix it with some cold water. I get warm water, bam. That's how I can get my hot water. But there's certain things about, you know, going to the bathroom and just sitting on this toilet with no toilet seat and no flusher. I know how to, you know, put water down the toilet if I need to. But there's certain things about being able to actually flush a toilet that actually means something to me. All right. And if I'm looking at the place that they are in reference to my own living space and how I would want to live, the only thing else about that would really be somewhat of a turnoff for me is how open it is. Like, bugs can get inside the house. If you look at the top, if I'm not able to put the video in there, I'll link the video so you guys can see it. But if you look at the top, there's openings at the top. So bugs, all types of insects can get inside. You know, your geckos, your lizards, and stuff like that. They can all get inside the house. For me, I gotta have screens up. I don't want to give any insects no barrier of entry inside of my living arrangements. So, you know, granted, I do believe that fixing those small things could make this $40 apartment or house that they rented very livable for myself. But, you know, I don't know what it is for you guys, right? I don't know how you guys personally feel about this. I don't know if you could do it. Don't know if it's comfortable for you. Don't know if you think, that's too much for me, Doc. I need a little bit more than that. I don't know how you feel, man. I'm not that broke. I would be willing to pay premium or top dollar in order to be able to have a satisfactorily living space for myself. But I often feel like it's noteworthy, and like I said, I appreciate them sharing this one, but it's also noteworthy to see what these cheaper arrangements look like, or what these cheaper arrangements can entail if you choose to go that route. There are people who rent out BAHAY KUBOs, which are just wooden houses, for lack of a better term, in the Philippines, and they can rent them for like $30, $40, $50 a month and everything like that, and that's comforting for them. Can't say I could do that myself, but I have seen people who have lived that life, and there have been moments in my stay within the Philippines wherein for a day, maybe a day plus, I've had to adjust to that particular accommodation, whether it be traveling outside of the city for any reason, or, you know, going to visit somebody or whatever. I've had to live that particular accommodated lifestyle. So it's not as if I haven't been able to experience it before, but it's something that if I had to experience long term, or if this was a place that I was really going to have to call my home, it would be rough for me to be able to do that. Now, I will say this. If this is what you can afford, and the only thing that you can afford when you come to the Philippines, I really want you to think about and reevaluate whether you're ready to come to the Philippines or not. All right? If a $40, $50 rental or lease or whatever it may be, arrangement or accommodation is all you can afford right now, I think it's in your best interest to rethink whether it's time for you to come to the Philippines or not. Again, I often encourage you guys to at least think over your money, your monthly expenses, about how much you would be able to spend, how much you would be able to afford to spend. That way you can start divvying up your funds the way that they need to go: food, housing, electric, water, whatever it may be, so that you can realize if it's a feasible move for yourself. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am very intrigued to hear what you guys got to say about this one. I found it to be extremely interesting. I found that, you know, being able to share these particular experiences with other foreigners living in the country, I think it's awesome. I think it's good to see how other people are living, you know, on the high end and also on the low end, so that you can figure out what works best for you. I have seen some high quality places for a very affordable price. Affordable being, you know, a couple hundred here and there, $300 or something like that. I do believe that if you do have a place on the outskirts of a city, it'll be a whole lot cheaper than actually living in the city. But, you know, you'll still be able to enjoy the same benefits. You know, you might have to travel a little bit outside of the city, but you'll still be able to, you know, enjoy city life if you want to go in for a little bit. But you don't have to necessarily deal with the sights and sounds and all the noise that the city life has to offer. So, again, I want you to think long and hard about cost of living. You know, cheap is not always the best, but cheap definitely provides you a more stretch in the budget if that's the way you choose to go. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Doc would highly appreciate that one. If you want to throw a couple dollars on the Good Doc's books, there's a heart down at the corner. You can drop a little thank you for the Good Doc. Highly appreciate that one. If you guys want to see the unseen, never before seen content that the Good Doc can't post on YouTube, make sure you check me out on my Patreon, guys. I got some pretty good shit happening over there, and I hope you guys are able to enjoy that content as well. You know what time it is? Time for the Good Doc to go and get to getting. So with that being said, Good Doc is officially out. At least not go alone, which means I am going now. Bye-bye. As always, love you guys. Sincerely do. Makita. Mabuhay. Peace.